Like yesterday, when I was preparing for this show, I was just talking to myself. The Chinese, they come in, they build road, they build bridges, they build infrastructures, buildings, right? I'm not saying that we do not need those things. We need it. But my point is, they are not like very necessary for now due to the unemployment that we have in our countries.
Yeah.
So instead of them building us these infrastructures, can't they set up some production plants like factories which will help in the reduction of this unemployment we are having back home?
That is another problem. And I always ask myself, so when Chinese, when they need bridges and all that, how do they do them?
Exactly.
How do they do them themselves? What happened to us? When they are able to build their own bridges, their own railways, and everything themselves, they employ their own citizens. So what has happened to we Africans? That we cannot build our own bridges like they do. And we even have something they want and they need.
Exactly.
Which is the natural resources, and they don't have. So what is really happening that they can do everything themselves in their country. They can manufacture equipment which they can use to do everything in their country, but we cannot. What is happening? Are they more sensible than us, or what is really happening?
And there was a survey carried out, that was like last year or 2 years ago. They tried to analyze China's involvement in Africa and all their loans and everything. And they came out with a report which stated that Chinese loans to Africa are like a debt trap. So that was their belief, that the loans are like a debt trap. So you, as an African and someone from Africa, do you share this same sentiment?
Yes, I share same. Example is the Kenyan and the Chinese. Right. The motive behind that maltreatment was the debt. Right. The Chinese man knows that, oh, these people are owing us. And when I do this to the Kenyan national, they cannot do anything because they are owing us. And it's true. It's a death trap. And it's not only happening in Kenya. It's happening in other countries. Can you imagine, recently you heard some Chinese try to raise a structure in the middle of the road.
Yeah. Was it in Ghana? Or?
In Ghana.
Yeah.
And the road minister just went in and brought some excavators to break down the structures. Just imagine. This is in the middle of the road. This is a main road. And this contractor was just building.
Exactly.
Because of this money, because of these loans. So it's a death trap which they come to our countries and mismanage our resources and everything, which in years it's really going to affect the coming generations. For now, we will not see the impact of what they've done. But in years to come, we find out that they've really destroyed the country, especially talking about this mining thing and the water. A time will come, there will not be any good drinking water. No. We have to, get water from nearby countries, and we have to pay for it.
Not just the water, there will be the soil has also been destroyed.
Yes.
And sometimes they go to an area that is like a forest, and they have to cut down the trees and destroy all the vegetation.
So everything.
It goes a long way in really destroying the ecosystem.
Yeah.
So according to the report, they also said that the Chinese leadership do not have the interest of the common African at heart, because the loans that they give to African countries, there are no rules to make sure that these loans are being used for the right purposes. Is that the case in Ghana? Like they borrow money and they don't use it for what they say they want to use it for?
No, the thing is, for the money they loan out, it's not the fault of the Chinese. Loaners always think about profit and their interest. That is the main reason why they loan money. When I'm giving you money, I'm not thinking about what you are going to use the money for. I'm thinking about my interest. So you coming for the money should know what you are going to use the money for. So before you are going for the loan, you know that I'm going for the loan for this money to build hospitals, to build schools, to build this, right? So when you go for it, you have to use the money for the exact thing you said you want to use the money for. Now, when they go for the money from the Chinese, right, what they do is they don't use the money for the right purposes.
Yeah.
Right? They go, when they are talking about maybe $2 billion, half of the money goes into their pocket and other things. It doesn't go into the infrastructure they said. And the Chinese, now the loaner doesn't care about it, because he knows that if even I loan you and you cannot pay, there are some minerals, there are gold, there are bauxite can come for them. So at the first place, they know that we don't think at the first place because we have a lot of things which are better than them, but we are not making good use of them at the first place. So now they have to push in more money so they can get all those things. So the leaders have to put good measures in place in Africa that when I'm going for this money, I have to use it for this purpose. If it can be after 10 to 15 years, I'm not going to borrow money from anyone. That is what the leaders of Africa have to think. If I'm going in for 2 billion, then I have to set up something that can give me more than 2 billion so that I'll not go in for another loan from those same people. We keep going. Even the 2 billion will get finished, then we'll go in again. And these people will see that, okay, these people are just misusing and embezzling the cash. They are not using it for any purpose. But then they are still getting their interest. This is the main problem. So it's not the fault of the Chinese. The Chinese have found out that when we give them the money, they don't use it for the purpose. And they come back again for the money. And this comes in that when it happens like that, you now know that it's pure corruption. They get the money and it goes into their pocket. They don't use it for what they have to use it for.
Even recently, I heard that Nigeria is also going for a loan from the Chinese, trying to get some loan. And I was like, Nigeria?
The whole Nigeria.
Nigeria, the highest oil producer in Africa.
You are paying for loan.
What do you need a loan for?
Yeah.
I know. But then again, right, don't you think that the Chinese need to share some responsibilities? Okay, they need to ensure that this loan are being put in good use. Because they always say that China-African cooperation is a win-win.
Yeah.
But we the Africans are not seeing any win in whatever they are saying. But they will always say it's win-win. And in China, the way they talk about it is like they give a lot of aid to Africa. They help us like a lot. I've been in China, so I've heard many of my friends like China is a very good friend to Africa. China helps Africa a lot. I'm like, that's not it. China has a lot that it benefits from Africa.
Yeah.
So my point is, don't you think that the Chinese should share some responsibilities about this loan issue? Because if these loans are not put in good use, then it's going to be difficult for the Africans, the future generations, to pay it back to them.
Yeah, the Chinese have their own problem. Talking about they want to build their economy, right, to make it very strong. They always want to lead in everything, right? So they really plan before they come in for these things. They know we cannot pay. They know when we give them the money, they can't pay. So it's good for them to put measures in place for the Africans to follow, that when you take this money and you don't use it for this infrastructure, we will do this or we will do that.
Exactly.
But it doesn't happen that way, because that comparing it to what they said, the $2 billion borrowed to Ghanaian for bauxite, they already have a reason behind the loan, not for infrastructure, for our bauxite.
Exactly.
It's okay, I'm giving you $2 billion. Then you give me access to 5% of your bauxite. It's not I'm giving you $2 billion, build 100 hospitals, build 200 schools, build 300 roads, build 200 railways. No. He said, I'm giving you $2 billion and I'm coming for 5% of your bauxite. So they lend us money because of our minerals, not because of our infrastructures or anything, or our economy. No, the main motive of the money is for our raw materials and our minerals. That's the problem.
I'm quoting from what the analysts they said on that day, that the Chinese are doing this on purpose. Like they have been actively trying to get us indebted to them. And the more we owe them, the more upper hands they have against us when it comes to negotiating deals.
Yeah.
So is that like the case?
Yeah, it's true. You know, when you are in debt, right? When you are in debt, you have no option than to give in all you have.
Yeah.
So they keep pushing the money on you. Oh, take this, take that, and no one can reject money. When they are giving you have to take it. So as the analyst said, when they keep you in debt, it's easy for them to get access to everything they want.
Exactly.
And it's easy for their national to manipulate everything. So now when you even see a Chinese national misbehaving, there is nothing you can do. They are doing all those, not only even for our raw material, for their national to live peacefully in other countries. You know, they just do whatever they want.